best kind. Right now, we feel so much that we are exactly where we're meant to be, and how very much Poppy is meant to be. Poppy has been alive for only 371 days, and we're so happy to have her in our lives. Thank you again for all the love and support you've given us. We're going to pass you over to some very special people in our life, Will and Meredith.
Yay!
So, hi, I'm Meredith, this is Will.
Hello.
We're basically here today to help Jimmy and Helen celebrate the best year of their lives and welcome Poppy into the world, surrounded by her friends and family, celebrating who she is and who we all hope she'll become. Will and I have been asked to take part in Poppy's naming ceremony, and we feel this is an important part, an important rite of passage for Poppy, because your name identifies you, it keeps you distinct from other people, it can reflect your culture, your traditions, it can reflect the people you love and show respect for the people that have gone before you. A name is also something only your mother can say in that really scary tone of voice. I'm 28 and my name in that tone still fills me with dread. So I'll hand over to Will to introduce Stuart Beck.
Yes, I would like to introduce Stuart Beck. I'm sure that you all know that Stewie is Jimmy's brother, and Beck he considers to be his sister. And they've been incredible support, from what I understand, through a pretty interesting year, and they'd love to do a reading for you.
Every home should have a daughter, for there's nothing like a girl to keep the world around her in one continuous whirl.
From the moment she arrives on earth and on through womanhood, our daughter is a female who is seldom understood.
1 minute she's laughing, the next she starts to cry. Man just can't understand her, and there's just no use to try.
But she's soft and sweet and cuddly. She's also wise and smart. She's a wondrous combination of a mind, a brain and a heart.
And even in her baby days, she's born as a poppet, and anything that she really wants, she manages to get.
But even at a tender age, she uses all her wiles, and she can melt the hardest heart with the sunshine of her smiles.
She starts out as a poppy, with her beauty unrevealed, and then through a happy childhood, her petals are unsealed.
Jelly cups, must sticks. No, hold on.
All right, okay, yeah. So, oh, we got a victory.
Super organised. That's the start.
So we have asked Will and Meredith to be life guardians to Poppy. So part of Poppy's naming ceremony is talking about what a role of life guardian is and how they'll be part of Poppy's life.
Well, I mean, okay, so we're not overly religious, either one of us, but we don't see that would make kind of neglect Poppy to have those extra guardians in her life and someone special. And also to say a special thanks to two friends who've been in Helen and my life for probably longer than we can imagine other people as well. Not that they're more important than others, it's just I think they're very special to us. So, I mean, the other reason is that there's a yin and a yang here, and you can swap them out. You know, we've got a professional actor and a professional funny man, and you know, and a lawyer, and a very strong, determined woman. And I think they work together really well. And if you had seen last night, We went through all of this. It's one of the funniest nights I've ever experienced, and it just cemented the idea of the fact that they're supposed to be teaming up to help Poppy through other aspects in their life that we don't know about. So.
And as Jimmy said, like they've given us support and friendship over the years, but they've also welcomed Poppy into their lives. They can be role models.
They can be.
And role models are a crucial part of any child's life. Just as a child looks to their parents, it's just as important that there are others to whom a child looks to for guidance. As life guardians, they can have an important role to play.
We shall respond.
Obviously, Will and I appreciate the honour that Jimmy and Helen have given us. We see our role as supporting and nurturing Poppy to help her be the best person she can be, to foster an independent mind and be a sounding board to her in times of need. Obviously, what she needs from us will change over time. Eventually, she'll be a teenager, and I don't want to think about it. And I guess on a more serious note, I grew up with parents who separated when I was very, very young, and I guess I see my role not only to support Poppy, but to support Jimmy and Helen.
Wow.
To be a foundation for her life.
Yes.
And the most important thing is I'll be there the whole way through to teach her how to bake. Will and I are very different. And I think between the two of us, she's going to get really confused. But she's going to have a great time along the way. And I think we've got her covered pretty well. So Jimmy and Helen, we got this.
I take my commitment equally as seriously. If something tragic should happen, they should shuffle off this mortal coil. I think it's important today that I say that I will take full responsibility in raising Poppy. I will homeschool her. We shall live in Iceland, and she will be taught the art of improvised dance. So that would be my contribution to the raising of Poppy. In a naming ceremony, there's the name, why the name was chosen, and part of my job was to tell you guys why Poppy was chosen. And I'm still confused. Right. I mean, it's an amazing name. Everyone, it's catchy, it's fun, it's strong, it's all these things. But I'd like to throw the ball to Helen, just to say a couple of words as to how you came across this amazing name and why you've chosen to call this.
Okay, so simply, Poppy is my favourite. Poppies are my favourite flower, and it's a very strong name. And I'll tell you what, Fitzpatrick is a very hard surname to match my first name with. It was pretty much the only one that worked.
20 names for boys and about 2 for girls, so, and we ended up giving her both. So we had Jean as a backup in case she didn't find Poppy to be serious enough. If she ended up being a politician or something very down the line, that's obviously never going to happen. Because her name's Poppy.
Maybe.
And I just think we have a happy medium there, and of course Ambrose, which is very important to.
But also Jean is my a female role model in my mother's life, in her family. Her name is Jean, and also my grandmother, who played a huge part of my life growing up, and who I still think about all the time. Ambrose is her surname, her maiden name. So that's how they got the name. And Fitzpatrick, we're just doing the traditional thing. As much as possible.
Hey, Poppy.
Like all great love stories, like all great love stories, this one began in Hungry Jack's. And I think it's important that we acknowledge this. Jimmy, what actually happened? How did this rose from romantic nights?
I spare the details, but it's basically just a Whopper with cheese, no onion meal. It was really delicious. No, it was on Valentine's Day. Helen and I agreed that the best option for us was to just go out, get Hungry Jack's and watch the Muppets. And, we did that, and then some other stuff.
And now we have a Muppet.
That's beautiful. So we'd now like to introduce Chris. There's been an interesting relationship that's developed between Chris and Poppy. I think it's sometimes in life we choose our friends and sometimes our friends choose us. And from everyone I've spoken to, it seems like this sort of very strong bond that's formed between you two. And I know that Jimmy and Helen hold a special place in their heart. And even though Poppy, with things in her mouth, maybe she doesn't have the words to really put this, but I'm sure she feels this bond as well. So if you put your hands together, Chris.
Yay! Hello everyone, I'm Chris. I just want to say really quickly.
Metal bits.
Yeah!
I hear gliding with the car rather than car gliding with her.
I just want to say really quickly, I met Jimmy about 2 years ago now, and he's just been a really good friend of mine since I've known him. And you know, I met Helen as well just before Poppy, and then once Poppy came onto the scene, it was just an absolute pleasure seeing the two of them grow as parents. And I honestly believe that Poppy's absolutely blessed to have them. She's been such a pleasure. I've known her since she was this big. You know, I just have the utmost respect for Jimmy and Helen and the utmost love for Poppy. So I'm just going to do a reading real quick for you guys. I was honored that Jimmy would allow me to do this, so here we go. Your children are not your children. They are the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. They come through you, but not from you. And though they are with you, though they come through you, they belong not to you. You may give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls dwell in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but seek not to make them like you, for life goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. You are the bows from which the children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark upon the path of the infinite, and he bends you to his might, that his arrow may go swift and far. Yet your bending in the archer's hand be for gladness, for even as he loves the arrow that flies, so he loves also the bow that is stable.
Yes.
That's me.
Thank you, Chris. Helen and Jimmy.
Yes.
Certificates, perhaps?
Oh, right, no. That's later.
We rehearsed this so well last time.
Oh, yeah. So although Will and Meredith are here as life guardians, we want to extend the wish that all of you will be life guardians to Poppy. We hope that you'll be available should she ever have any uncomfortable questions, that you'll answer them truthfully, that you'll welcome her into your arms, and above all else, have fun with her.
We will.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Helen,
Do you really think I'd really just rely on Will?
Okay, so we've got a little piece of paper here just on the telephone table over there. So if you just want to write, it's a box to be opened on Poppy's 16th birthday.
Lovely.
So if you just want to write your well wishes, words of advice or just whatever pops into your head when you look at her today, whatever you like, just put it in one of these red envelopes and she can open it in 15 days' time.
Lovely idea.
Well, just firstly, can I just say a big thank you to Maureen?
Thank you,
Because
Maureen.
Maureen is an amazing person. We all know Maureen. She's an amazing celebrant, and she gave us very good instructions for today, which we have clearly ruined every single part of it. So we are incredibly sorry, Maureen.
Ultimately, this name that Helen and Jimmy have chosen does not define or direct this child. It is simply a perfect name for a perfect child. And our job is to provide the security, love and inspiration for Poppy to discover who she is for herself. In the words of Shakespeare, what's in a name? A poppy by any other name would smell as sweet. I acknowledge all the names of our ancestors that either through fate, fortune or hungry jacks have brought us here today, and hereby declare that Helen and Jimmy's child is officially titled Poppy Jean Ambrose Fitzpatrick. So if you can repeat after me, we'll say her name together. Poppy Jean Ambrose Fitzpatrick.
Thanks everyone. We're just going to sign some things. We're going to just sign the official document. Carry on, Columbus.
Here's to Poppy.
Thanks everyone for coming. Enjoy the rest of the day. Thank you.
I know.
Well done.